Today I'm taking you with me for a few slow days of photography here in Japan's countryside. I've been staying by the sea near Kanazawa, just outside Tokyo, in the Hakone area. It's been such a calm and inspiring time. I hope you will come along. From Anazuru, we drove to Fuji Yoshida, where we got to experience stunning autumnal foliage and Fuji views along the way. We had a quick stop to grab some lunch and took some photos by the lake. I absolutely hate the first few photos I usually get and feel like I've never held a camera before in my life. Very weird. So yeah, this is a warm-up really. The colors and the foliage is so beautiful at this time of the year in Japan, so if you think of visiting, this is definitely a good time to come. The only downside is very short days, so you won't get as many hours of light. This massive swan boat caught my eye, and I spent some time by the water waiting for people to come by and hoping to get a nice interesting shot with it in the foreground. I'm not really sure it works, but I've been trying to embrace the Japanese tradition of wabi-sabi, so just trying to embrace and accept the small imperfections. When I travel around Japan, especially in quiet countryside places like this, I always wish I could understand more of what's being said. I've always been very fascinated by languages and actually have a degree in modern languages, and I speak several, but traditional learning methods have never really worked for me. I used to sit through long grammar lessons and I used to think, surely there must be a better way than this. I wish something like LinguaPie had existed when I was at uni. I love that I can learn through real films and series, as there are over 3,000 titles to choose from, so there is always something new to watch. I just click on any word in the subtitles to see what it means instantly, and the instant translation feature is so clever, and LinguaPie automatically saves it as a flashcard, so I can review it later. I've also been using the AI pronunciation tool, which gives me real feedback on my accent and actually helps me sound more natural straight away. I've been using it while I'm here in Japan and it's actually been amazing. I've started recognizing phrases from films and songs and even from people I meet. And since I'm planning to my next trip to Brazil, I've already started using LinguaPie to learn a bit of Portuguese too. It's become part of my daily routine and something I generally look forward to. If you want to learn Japanese, Portuguese or any other language in a fun and effective way, you can try LinguaPie for free for 7 days using my link in the description. Back to us, we lingered around the lake for a while and then decided to head to a very cute town called Oshinohakai, which turned out to be a big mistake. We arrived at the car park and there was this very nice Japanese garden, but that was pretty much it. It was really crowded, so what I ended up doing was just stealing some shots from the tourists in the area and observing the locals and going down some streets where there were no tourists and tried to capture some local housing and some scenes of local life. But you know, that's just part of realistic day of photography, and it doesn't always go well. But you know, in general, I know I've been saying that this area is quite touristy, but I do think that actually Japan is not overrun by tourists. It's definitely the viral spots that you see on Instagram and TikTok that are so busy with tourists and lots of crowds. But it might also be true that I'm from quite a touristy country. I'm from Italy, so I'm quite used to a lot of tourists. But from what I've seen, even some parts of Tokyo are just so calm and relaxing, and you don't see that many people around. And that's my opinion of Japan. It's actually a very calm and relaxing country where most of the time you don't see anyone in the streets. The following day, we headed to Fuji Yoshida, a super popular town for viewing Mr. Fuji. We were really lucky with clear visibility, but we woke up a bit too late, and by the time we started shooting around 11, the light was already quite harsh. Definitely not the ideal time for these kind of shots. So if you're planning a visit, I would really recommend you to wake up at sunrise and try to come here as soon as possible. You will find different POVs on Mount Fuji and mostly just locals going about their day. Personally, I find these moments where everyday life unfolds with Fuji in the background so much more interesting than the Instagram shots we've all seen hundreds of times. But that's just me. Lately, I've also been experimenting with different ratios and crops. I keep coming back to 4:5 because it reminds me of medium format, which I miss dearly. Looking back at this footage makes me so happy and grateful to have experienced Japan in the fall. This next stop is definitely still touristy, but I really wanted to see it with my own eyes. I found myself looking up constantly, trying to capture all the different shades of red and orange against the blue sky. This was probably the worst time to see Mount Fuji. The sun was at its peak right above us, so it wasn't ideal for shooting. The peak of Fuji was reflecting so much light that it was hard to get a clear and contrasty outline, which you see later on. Still, we made our way to the top, and I couldn't help but pause and observe everything happening around me. I actually feel like black and white works really well in this kind of harsh light, and it helps anchor the tones, makes the blacks truly black and the whites actually white, and strips the scene down to its shapes and textures. And of course, I had to check the famous Lawson. And I can confirm it wasn't really worth it. It was so busy, I barely managed to get this shot. And if you're planning to come here, you definitely need to come very early. Otherwise, don't bother. While driving around Lake Kawaguchiko, we stumbled across this insane view of Mount Fuji. We spent the last half hour of light trying different compositions and waiting for that moment when the sun will hit the peak. It was one of the best views of my life, and I really hope my photos do it justice. That's everything from me today. Thank you so much for coming along with me, and a big thanks to today's sponsor, LingoPie. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.